Togozani, 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 and abundant blessings to us all. I definitely go by Ubaba Lex, and welcome back to the channel. It is a moon day evening. We're definitely going to try this again. Shout out to TikTok. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. As you can see, the topic, hashtag Agenda 2030. I think that is also a key spell. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So I'm going to say that as least as possible. And then let's see how it continues to move forth. As you can see, I'm a holistic health coach, liquid alchemist sage, initiated Zulu Sangoma, aka medicine man or shaman, metaphysics keynote speaker, teacher, founder of the Conscious Men community, and now as of 2025 at least, a independently published author. My first offering, the book, The Law of Attunement Teachings, Book 1, is currently still for pre-order. The physical copies will be going out from January of 2026. It is an independent project, as are all my projects. It's all grassroots, from the ground up, and not like this agenda over here. Wow. And once again, Togo goes into those of you celebrating the true Southern African Hemisphere New Year. Powerful, powerful. I should be right now on the way to Inzalo Yelanga, the birthplace of the sun, the place where the sun is birthed, Malanga, which means where the sun rises, where the sun comes out. The colonizer, the Caucasoid, has named it Adam's calendar. You can go and do your research. So here, Mzansi, in the Southern Hemisphere, Africa, we're celebrating our New Year, 23 September. It's more 23 because that's when we've stepped into, you see, and then we celebrate. So those of us who are Siapatha, Togozin, and those of you who are unaware, please become aware, especially if you are a melanated being. It's imperative that now you begin to not only just wake up, become aware. Shout out to, is that Taiho? Shout out there. And once again, at the bottom there, you can see, join the Q&A panel discussion. Towards the end time, we're going to have that panel discussion. Shout out to Ryan Cage in the building. My man, I know you're going to love this one. I know you're going to love this one. I'm sending you an invite already. Shout out to K's Trades. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome in the building. We've got this topic which is super volatile. This is the third time we're trying to run this live, so it's so far so good, smooth enough. But once again, this is, shout out to Keaton. You can find this online. Just punch into Google, even those of you onto your AIs. Shout out to Betty Shakes. Just punch it in. Agenda 2030. That's what you're going to see. Fasa kisube. Fasa ketsube. Roll that and let's do it. Welcome to the discussion. Welcome to the panel, if you so decide to join. But once again, there's going to be a lot of questions, okay? Shout out to Martha. Shout out to Prince Muladudi. Shout out to Maasi. Once again, there's a panel Q&A discussion. Agenda 21-Agenda 2030. This is from the UN, United Nations, okay? So what we're going to do, of course, before we jump in nicely, shout out to Gigabeast. Shout out to Takane. Let's go through those points and let's see how far or long we are along the lines. Guys, listen. The truth is stranger than fiction and more disturbing than the lies. Shout out to Naji 2016. And a lot of us are still childish, so we're not able to face what's already taking place. the best place to arm yourself is to be aware, but be aware of your awareness. See, being aware means, okay, ngiyayibona, showcase. Cool, I can see that thing there. But what is your action for yourself to make sure that when those waves hit, from spiritual, mental, physical, when those waves hit, are you prepared? Most of us are not. Shout out to the bride, shout out to Will. Okay? Agenda 2030 is not a joke. It started as Agenda 21 in 1992. But guess what? It's taking too long. So they're now pushing a lot of pace. Remember, let's cast our minds back to the rapture. Shout out to Jay. 2020, lockdown, pandemic. Okay, cool, showcase. They started to do operation what's called warp speed. And then remember, one talamela, there was no such thing as, oh, these vaccines, we don't know, these, keyword, these quaxines, this needlecraft, we don't know what's good with this stuff. Okay, cool, no problem. Then they do Operation Warp Speed. All of a sudden now, we now have needlecraft quaxines that are safe enough for human consumption worldwide. Guys, bamboozling. Mina, I know I'm safe. I didn't touch that stuff. Are you mad? But those of you who have, I have worked with some beings, especially Tina. There's a lot of natural things in nature. And the easiest one is ilang, the sun, solala. You do know that in days past, medical used to be natural, attuned to natural causes. Okay, the way nature heals, they used to use the natural methods. Hospital beds were on the top of the roof because the sun was there, especially midday sun. If you look at the 70s, 80s, before they started to, even 90s, people were tanning. The darker you were, it was showing that you're healthy. Especially, I'm talking to the Caucasoid. The Caucasoid used to love tanning, or what? Or nyadlala. Guys, listen. I have a lot of Caucasoid beings I work with, also who I know, so it's not a race thing. This is also one of the agendas. Let me tell you that one time. Okay? So this is what you call divide and conquer tactics. So since warp speed took place, now people were forced to take needlecraft. The reason why Ngaibiza, I call it needlecraft, is because it's like witchcraft. It's crafting something with a needle, hence needlecraft. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Heru. Shout out to Dachavala or Dachavai. Togas, welcome. Shout out to Scar1. You see, so the more we not only just stay aware, as in, okay, Ngaibona, I see it, we must engage consciously in becoming one with what we call Mama, Mother Nature. Because Mother will never leave you. You decide to leave Mama. You see what we're saying? Shout out to 10 Mr. LJ in the building. There's a space there for you on the panel, my G. Please, you know what time it is. Hey, siyabangena with this one. This is the second or third time I'm trying with this live. Because they keep kicking Ubabalex out, you see. So, no problem. No problem. Guys, please, let's have some likes. Okay? And more likes will attract more beings. I'm loving that. And what we're doing is we are actually trying to reverse the, what's this thing called? The algorithm, so that it can boost what they deem is not a suitable topic. Okay? This is the best way to glitch. Shout out to CupidX_SA. Welcome. This once again, this is a tough topic. But once again, 10 Mr. LJ, your views are always welcome. Kesha, please. You know when your insight is of an awake, aware ancestor in the flesh. So everything leads to this agenda because once again, Tinasi, republic. We are a republic. Anything that's a republic is captured. It's been captured. All right. So if you don't know these basics, also check the videos on my channel there. They will start to direct you and point you into what's happening, so that this here will not bamboozle you. All right, Togas. Let's start going through this list. Okay. So this is the agenda. So by 2030, this is what they want. This is what they're telling you. They're not saying, okay, guys, let's massive vote there, blah, blah, blah. Nope. They're telling you. Wow. The nerves. Okay, so one world government. Wow. Imagine a one world government. Who's going to be the president? I'm asking number one. When even our presidents, each republic, clown, imidlwembe. You understand what I'm saying? But imagine a one world president. Imagine how an entity that must be. Shout out to Chester Ace in the building. Shout out to Jan Boer. Shout out to Joel. Okay, there's a panel there. There's a Q&A section at the end. You can read at the bottom. So please don't be shy. There's no stupid question. We're all figuring this thing out now. Some of us more ahead than others, but that's not the point. The point is each one reach one, each one teach one. Okay? And especially on the continent. The divide and conquer tactics for too long now. It's too easy for them to divide us and conquer. You know, one of the agendas which I'm going to bring up is the foreign agenda. Because once again, it's so easy to see this when you stop eating inama, dead flesh all the time. When you take a fast, when you stop eating amakwinya, when you stop eating all of this bleached, blanched, fatty, fast, processed foods, and then you start to drink structured water, you get outside, you clean your mind, you heal your traumas, then you're going to start to see things better, you see? And the herbs are there. I'm going to also start to do a playlist for me doing the videos in real time, where I'm foraging anywhere for what you call shrubs or weeds, and I'm going to tell you the medicinal properties there. Instead of you going to buy amapilis with, they mix a bit of a quarter of this, a quarter of that in that pharmaceuticals, I will be doing a playlist where, shout out to Ross Inc. in the building. I'll be doing a playlist where I'll be teaching you, and then if you're lazy, you can then order some herbs from Ubabalex or any of my partners. You understand? Beautiful. Because you have to take the power into your own hands. Otherwise, this agenda, okay, it's going to take place. Shout out to Ryan Cage. Once again, things like dandelion root, I harvested so much. People are saying, oh, this is a weed. Just research dandelion and its benefit. Punch it in there on YouTube's. Now, Jail, I'm telling you, you're gonna be very shook. Those of you high blood pressure, diabetes, fatty liver, etc., etc. Togas at 10, Mr. LJ, welcome.
Hey, Fabalex.
Welcome, 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 welcome. How you feeling, my brother? How you feeling?
Good evening, sir. I was
Togas.
just moving away from the kids.
No stress, no stress.
Yeah, I
Busy
told them
father.
I told them I have a meeting. Otherwise, they were not going to take me seriously.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, that's how children are. But you know what? Children are a beautiful thing, and you're a good father, and you're there. So that's all that counts. But at least you have some time now. I don't know if you want to quickly just touch on, what you're seeing there on the topic. I just started to read through it. So we now just passed one world government. I'm at one world government, and I'm explaining Uguti as you're just hearing, and then those who just jumped in, that imagine now our own president is an idiot like that, and then the one world president. How much of a something do you think that guy will be? or that woman or that he, them, they. Angas.
Yeah, well, government. When you look at it, the purpose is to eliminate African leaders. Because when you check well government, who's on the board and who's making decisions, Africans are just taking instructions. They don't play a role in making decisions and stuff. They are just being told. So from my point of view, well, government is not a yoga for our people because I so much believe in in restoring our African systems of leadership, you know. So we have to go back to how do I put it? Let's remember how did they steal the land from us? They went to African leaders, Amakosi. They started buying them, making relationship with them. The next thing you know, politics or politicians have taken over. So we need to restore that leadership that we had in Africa, whereby if we talk about a township, every township has veterans of different fields, and so if we have to go back to our culture, veterans of different fields would be leaders and elders in our community. We elect them. They run with the election for a year. We get teachers. We get specialized people who check if the kind of curriculum or education our children are getting is good enough for us. So when they eliminated Amakosi, they knew that they will have to deal only with politicians, and politicians they just take instructions. But if we say, you know what, if here in Shoshanguve or here in Soweto, uh, every block will have a representative of elders that will inform the people of what they what the government wants to do, yes or no. And it's like it was a continuous voting was a continuous thing. It was not a 5 year thing. So now, if it's a 5 year thing, politicians don't care about us. If now you put South Africa in the held or in the hands of well government, then we can't even talk to those people. We don't even know who to talk to. We can't even get close to them. So I think for Africa, this is not good for us at all. Because once they implement things, everybody has to follow. But they eliminated Amakosi and Ella's system because they knew they won't enter our block if we did not agree with the elders. If education, if a curriculum or a certain teaching comes to our primary school, we have to approve it first. Now we have somebody from Department of Education. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they represent. We don't even know if they are African. So we have to involve the people in the ground. And to involve the people in the ground is not via politics, it's via a structure where, or elders, we need elders. This thing was there all the time. We need elders who will come together, who will make decisions. Back in the days, if there's a thief in our block, there were people who would be assigned to check on the crime. They will arrest those people, take them to the police. So locals knew that we can't mess up with the locals because they know who we are, and all the leaders were staying in that block or in that township. So it was easy. Now, if they don't do and deliver what we want, it's easy. We see them weekly. We can go to them and say, guys, your leadership is failing us. We are replacing you. We need people who will serve us, who will have best interests of our people. So stuff like that. I think we have to go back to our roots, and it's unfortunate that this system was penetrated because of greed and so on. But right now, Ramaphosa talks, minister implements whatever they implement. The councillors, they will give us a middle finger. They don't care. So if we have the system, even the councillor, if we have to speak to the councillor, we will alert the councillor of the decisions that we have made as local people, and we send the councillor to report to the superior, to those who are of higher offices. But with this system now, anybody can do anything. I mean, here in Shoshangove, there's a school that was they started building that school 10 years ago. It's not even finished. The roads are not finished, but they took the money. So if elders were in charge, whoever gets that tender, we should know who they are, where they come from, and if our community does not agree with that, then nobody will work and build in our community without our permission. Now we have strangers we do not know. The system is just messed up, and I think we have to take things along that direction if we want to restore things. So, well, government isolates African leaders; they won't have a say. With well government, they will just make decisions and call our presidents and tell them this is what we are going to implement. It will not be a question of yes or no. It will be an instruction. But if we go to our African roots, guys, we will win this battle. Nobody must make it. A councillor cannot make a decision without consulting the elders, and the elders must report to the community. The community, if they see something, go to the elders, and elders must inform the councillor, and the councillors must inform those who are in higher authority. And if they want to change anything or implement anything, they must go back to the same chain. If we say no to this system of education, is a no. Why? We will have experienced people in our community. Now we are being taught things that we don't know. Our kids are being taught things, ideologies that we are not even aware of. Hence why when our kids get to home, we teach them this. At school, they are learning that. At church, they are learning that. So I think it is about time when we make our own local government, where we are communicating with the elders, structure of youth. There must be representative of the young who will represent the youth. Whatever decisions we make, we agree with as a community. Then we include the councillor. Councillor, this is what the community has done. This is what the community has agreed upon. Take our message, take it to the government. If they are not doing what we want, then we change the councillor. We change that. We can oppose that system. Where we are now, we can't oppose anything because they just come. You just see cars in a village, trucks building. We don't even know who they are. The next thing they put, then kids will have to attend classes under a tree, stuff like that. I think it's about time when we oppose these things that are coming from global leaders or well government. It won't work for us. That's my take, gentlemen and ladies, goddess and goddesses. Thank you.
Proposing. Absolutely stunning. You see, my brother, when you touch their one world government, if you look at it nicely, one global controlled cashless currency, one global central bank, one global military, end to all national sovereignty, end to all private owned properties except some elites, end to all family unit, depopulation, control of population growth and density, endless mandatory vaccinations, I mean, already just there. What is that? A universal basic income. What? So already, it's not just taking us out because Tina, as you can see, imidlwembe, you cannot be swayed at this stage to the right side because you've already sold your soul. And when you say sold your soul, it means that you switched off any connection to your ancestry, your blood, the earth, the sun, divinity, that voice inside that's telling you, yes, sis. When you can't sleep at night, guess what? You're numbing yourself with the same synthetic stuff. And if you see close to the bottom there, well, at the bottom, ban of natural, non-synthetic drugs and medicines. What? Yay! Hey, wow. Let's just
you,
welcome
you,
Truth Seeker. Let's welcome Truth
you
Seeker
see,
quickly.
Baba, at
Yes.
least, Baba, like just a second. Right on that point, remember when they came to us, we were using herbs, and the Romans they came with clinics and they came with schools so that they can indoctrinate us, and they called all herbalists witchcraft people. And there was this thing that, hey guys, stop taking African medicine, it's making you sick. The nurses were pushing that agenda because that's what they were taught. The next thing we know, medication is only petroleum, and it is coming from health sector. So you can see that if we allow them and if we give them space to control us there, then we'll have a serious problem. So right now we have to bring back our herbalists. This camp should not be popular, but we should start going. I mean, Babalex, there are herbalists that I know who can deal with any kind of sickness, but because Africans believe that our herbalists are inferior, they know nothing, they don't understand medicine. That's why we lost the battle. So I'm opposing everything that these people are saying, and we just 2 days ago, there's like grass that you can boil, and it is a natural laxative. It cleans your belly, it cleans you. So you don't have to pay for that. You just chew it, and it cleanses your stomach, and you are fine. So you see such things. I mean, if an African child is hungry out there, does not even have bread, and they are feeling sick, why can't we just heal them with our herbs, with the grass, with the leaves and stuff like that? Nature is our nature is the way of life, and nature, if we follow nature, that's how we will win. But please guys, it is even up to us now. If you are selling herbs for certain things, I must support you. We must know what is happening. We must go back to our culture. And lastly, before I go off, I will tell you this: african power was African power is science. African power is not witchcraft. Just as you can see a missile and a bomb, if the UN organizes a gun and a bomb, we will say, "Wow, they are powerful people." But if an African man does whatever he does, we call it witchcraft. I mean, there are certain battles like your what's this guy's name, Mabuti Sese Seko. He sent bees to attack his enemies, and the bees dealt with them. So I think we must go back to our power, because it is unfair to think we will negotiate peace and equality with people who have weapons. They know they have weapons that can eliminate you. So they're not going to negotiate with you. Because if you have weapons and I do not have weapons, we cannot discuss equality. We can only discuss what you want. So African power is science, guys. African power is science. They tend it. They cause us to fear our own power and hate our own power. We must understand what is happening. I mean, if I have to share a testimony, Last 2 months things were just heavy for me until I got a call from somebody very close to me. He said, "Hey, get this plant and please plant it in your house." I went to the village. I got the plant. I knew how the plant looked. I put it around there. All of a sudden, those are opening again. So we were taught to hate our power. We are people that connects with nature, herbs, trees, and all that. So, guys, all I'm saying is this: let's not fear our power. This is science. Just as you can study physics, we need to study how we can defend ourselves from these people. Last story, there's a battle that they don't want to tell you about. I think it was with Queen Zinga. Queen Zinga did the very same thing. He knew how to manipulate energy. He caused the soldiers, the British soldiers, to have anxiety. All of a sudden, they started crying and they retreated and went back home. So you see, such things they don't tell you. So all I'm saying is this: we as Africans, we have our own way of fighting our enemies, and our way of fighting our enemies was demonized. We must go back to our culture. We must go back to our roots. We must go back to our names. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Babalex.
Aine, Togozin. Absolutely powerful. And everything spot on. The main thing is the fear. And also the other thing is that we've been miseducated. I mean, the miseducation of Lauren Hill, she told us already. It's all in the music, it's all in the movies, it's all in all of this programming. Yabo, welcome to Cupid X. But let's welcome also Truth Seeker. Thank you for the likes, guys. I shall be following you guys back. I'm still just handling also the comments. But yes, please, any comments, questions, statements, views, confusion, whatever the case, please take it away and welcome. Tagaz. Oops, you see, TikTok is being funny today. Told you. Cupid X, do you want to take it away? Welcome.
Oh, hi.
Welcome. How you
How you
feeling?
doing, guys?
Absolutely powerful, man. Absolutely powerful. Continue,
Yeah.
man. Speak your way, whatever you is on your powerful,
By
especially
the way,
relating to the topic. But yeah, continue
all I
as you
can
were.
say is that most of the stuff that you all mentioned here, I've heard about them, and I've been like trying to what I can say study or like get some information about everything that's happening in the new world order or whatsoever that they are doing. So I think everything that's written here, most of it I know, and also about the issue in Cape Town that Israel is doing whatsoever. So that's what I have for now. I don't know if
Beautiful.
that's like a bit
No,
of
that's beautiful. That's
information.
beautiful because what you're saying is Cape Town. There's a lot of things happening with the foreigners buying land, but not foreigners which are of our continent, of our own melanated brothers and sisters. But it's
Yeah,
apparently investors. That's what they say. If they foreigners from Peshea, they're now investors.
yeah,
So
they know investors.
you see, yes, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you right there. So this is what you're saying, and you're saying that we should also be looking at that. You also do know that they're trying to make Cape Town an independent state. This is why they're buying up the land.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I've seen mostly here on TikTok, and also I don't know if it's the news. No, I don't think it's the news because they don't show such things in the news. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you see,
I've seen it
10
on
Mr. LJ
TikTok
says it.
mostly.
Cape Town is Jerusalem. There's
Yeah,
also there's also now from a metaphysical standpoint and also energy, just like 10 Mr. LJ just said there, in terms of us connecting to our roots and nature and umama and the rhythms of the seasons, because now this is our happy new year. This is when we should be celebrating because
yeah,
of the way the season moves and the way just naturally you want to be outside. You tend to eat less because you take in more sun. There's more hydrogen. All of these natural things take place, but we're not taught. Cape Town has what? Table Mountain. You know that used to be a petrified tree. Used to be a tree. It's a petrified tree. A giant tree.
And also about that, I've seen like a lot of stuff or news that says that the trees or mountains are just trees, big trees actually.
Yeah,
That's what I've
petrified.
heard.
Yes, I'm confirming for you,
Yeah,
you know, because once again, we're in the age of Aquarius. Are you aware in terms of cosmology and astrology what that means? The age of Ma'at.
no, not really, not really.
This is divine balance.
Yeah,
Ma'at is balance. If you look at Kemetic sciences or our sciences, African spirituality, it's all about balance with rhythms, the feminine energy and the masculine energy, a divine dance of divinity, meaning that it works with each other, not against or for the other one,
yeah,
which is also what's playing out in the physical. You see?
yeah. I see now. That's why many people are coming this side now.
Well, Mama Africa is the savior's land. It's the final land, the final frontier. This is Noah's Ark, if you will.
Yeah, promised land. You see.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Remember, everything's going back to the beginning. Back to the beginning.
Hey,
So he, she who was first will be last, and he, she who was last will be first. Remember how they used to say, oh, Abotaki, they monkeys. In some places such as Dubai, this is for entertainment, educational purposes only, they have fetishes of melanated women from Ghana,
what?
Kenya, South Africa, some of them. Why do you think there was a wave of Abu Cheri running to Dubai? Slay queens and things. Watch out. Listen, they defecate. They pay them, yes, money, dollars,
Yeah,
up to about 5,000 US dollars, yeah, UK,
yeah.
to defecate, to have all types of sexual intercourses, any hole, orifice, and then also to urinate on them,
Mm.
to release, obviously, to defecation. Ukukaka lapho, yes, okay. What else? To call them monkeys and derogatory terms, and even sometimes release beatings. Man,
Mm.
this is real life. But then they come nemali. Oh, slay queen, blah blah blah. You see, Dubai's a trick. It's also one of the agendas. All of these things are agendas to go to what? This thing here.
Yeah, I
Total
see.
control. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see
Everything
what you're
that's
saying.
happening is to get here.
So to other people, it might not look like it's real because it's like some things they show you for reals, like, but some things they hide it, and some things you won't see at all.
Precisely. But it's all
Okay.
in plain sight. So this is why you must put the pieces together for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone throw you in a rabbit hole. You see, you already been doing your own research. Yes, yes, yes. One thing about umoya, spirit, is when you ask, you'll receive. But you ask correctly. We're not taught that. There's a simple technique, okay,
Yeah.
uh, which is before you sleep and upon rising, before you touch anything, or even your feet touch the ground, or you leave into another dimension. We say, as I put in my book also, the Law of Attunement Teachings, book 1, is we die every evening, or you go to a
Yeah.
different plane of existence.
Yeah, that's what I discovered when I was like, because there's this girl that I follow. She speaks mostly about spiritual things, and she
Beautiful.
also touched down on some of that also. Like death is not new to us. We die every day, every evening. We wake up, all of that.
Togas. Yes. You see? So we merging the metaphysical, so that metaphysical is the physical with the
Yeah.
unseen with the seen, because the unseen is what governs the seen. And this is what also We are starting to learn slowly. I mean, the more your thoughts are terrible, do you not think bad things start to come through? Of course. The
Of
more
course,
your
yeah.
mood is, next thing you hitting your foot there, you dropping this, it like cascades, you see? But
Yeah.
this is because your feelings become a magnet. Wait, your feelings create the emotion which becomes a magnet which either repels or
Attracts, yeah.
attracts things to you, people, places, and things. And the more unclear your system is, your glands, which links to your chakras, it's also in my book. It's also, I have some free lectures and teachings on my YouTube channel whenever you're ready, if you want to help yourself.
Yeah.
At Lex Stays Liquid, same name.
Okay,
So the chakras are linked to organs, are linked to glands, which which are operational because of the minerals. The minerals allow the hormones to be created. What is there a lot of deficiencies of? Mineral deficiencies because of what you put in your guts, the
yeah, yeah.
water, the food, also what you put on the biggest organ that you have, which is your skin.
Yeah, the skin, yeah.
You do know that now there's nanotechnology in women's products. I'm
I
sure, of
didn't
course.
know that. I didn't know that.
Watch out.
They put
Watch out.
nanotechnology now.
Watch out.
What?
You guys got Kobe suggesting, oh, it's L'Oreal, blah, blah, maybe it's Maybelline's, all of that rubbish. And then they're setting you up to be controlled remotely with radio waves, frequencies, elf waves,
Oh
extra
yeah.
low frequency, Wi-Fi's. That's why on the agenda there you can see everything will be remotely, will be connected via and monitored via 5G network. Crazy
And
hours.
also talking about Wi-Fi, like here in where I stay now, like because I was in Cape Town, but now I came back to Mpumalanga. Like uh, like certain company that sells or gives out Wi-Fi routers to like the community and stuff. So you pay, I think, around 300 and something for Wi-Fi and all of that. So most people now have Wi-Fi, and I've seen most people are also stuck on their phones, like also stuck on TV, like all of that. There's no productivity whatsoever.
Absolutely. It's all by design. You can see that, you can see over there, what are they trying to do over there? Somewhere it says, let me see, settlement zones. So they're restrictions, so concentration of humans. They're trying to restrict land use, air use, and its end of single family homes. Why do you think they've been on the agenda of separating the man from the house and then turning the women against, and then
Yeah,
switching things up very wild?
with
And
the
it's continuing.
things of supporting women and stuff. They act like they're supporting women while they're turning them into what they want them to be.
My man, this speaks to our women here. Yes, this is the agenda. Okay, Bati, there's no jobs. Okay, why do you keep encouraging people, the children, to study then? For what, when you know they're going to certain nothing? This is what I'm
Yeah,
saying. We have no solutions to basic challenges if you must. This is what we're saying. So, as 10 Mr. LJ said, for us on the continent, we need to go back to our traditional ways as in Ubukos, as in kings and queens and heirs of the land. Because, once again, we had a matriarchy, meaning that not that who runs the world girls, meaning that women control the agriculture. Agriculture means you control food, what you put in your guts, meaning that should you eat from the earth, you're able to fast as well. Remember when you were younger, you ate one meal a day, you go outside, you play, boom, you forget that you even needed to eat. But
yeah,
nowadays, children are inside, there's no sun, they're not climbing trees. So it's all been agenda after agenda. And then you see, once you create a habit in this generation, it becomes a disease in the next second or third one. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
It's
It
also
does
in my
make
book.
sense.
when did in us as melanated beings start suffering from cancers? I'm asking.
And it wasn't until when, but it didn't start like
Exactly.
a
But I'm saying,
long time ago. It's something that
yeah,
just happened recently.
thank you. Why? What changed? These are questions which we must ask. And I'm asking you.
Yeah. From my view, I think maybe like they've been trying to get us sick most of the time, but they couldn't. So they structured new ways, just like maybe the COVID-19, the whatsoever's. Like there's a lot happening, and also these injections, uh, that they give the woman for pregnancy and stuff. I saw that it causes cancer also, and there's a
Oh,
lot.
yes, PCOS, polycystic ovarian cancers. All of this, that's why we say umchova. This is what they said. Endless mandatory vaccines. Can you see it's about number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, I
6,
see
7?
that.
Can you see that thing?
Yeah, I see.
Why? At the end of the day, this is why I love, whenever I give some of these lectures, I always ask why. Until, even for yourself, whenever you're doing shadow work and you're doing your own healing, ask yourself why until there's no more whys.
Ay,
Hectic. Because
yeah.
guess what they did when we were young? To switch off your programs, Daddy, Mommy, why do we pay to live? Why do we pay for fruits when they for free on the trees? Why do we shut up? Because the adult now has conformed.
Yeah.
Switch that questioning off. Let's just follow because that's us. Asazi thina phela. We're gonna get taken out here, you know?
Yeah, they started this a long time ago.
This is what we
But
say. But
it has come into effect like now.
these guys are playing the long game, but the only difference is now is Uguti, we've stepped into a new era or a new aeon, a new age. You've noticed that the sun has changed from the 90s to
Yeah.
around 1000. It used to be a yellow dwarf, meaning it was a step down transformer, meaning that it didn't allow full spectrum frequency. And also, we had an ozone layer. We had an
Yeah, we did.
electromagnetic field, strong one. And that was set up. That was what you call the veil, or the veil of forgetfulness. Also, we tied to the moon matrix, meaning that that's the light that you see when you pass away, but also you've been bamboozled by a fake deity because Jesus, or quote unquote Jesus, was not a Christian. It was created based off of, and Buddha was not a Buddhist. They wrote things based off that guy. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
then
I
they
see.
used it to control because they're like, wait, these guys believe this shit. Okay, let's erase this, erase this, erase this. Because once again, it all came from ancient texts, which we were doing. We were
Yeah.
levitating. We were in harmony. We used to also be able to shapeshift. Some of the tribes now, there's guys who I've come into contact with through, especially through lockdown, with my initiations and all of this into Ubosangom.
Mhm.
There's guys West Africa who practice this. They shapeshift, my man. It's not a joke,
What?
especially certain phases of the moon. This is for entertainment and
Serious?
educational purposes only. I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's not as a bad thing, but sometimes when you go that far, you must disappear. Like you can't come back. So there's inner earth. There's
Then no nan. Yung nalo problem yung
this.
skin.
Yeah.
How?
Let me just mute that. Sorry about that. But you see what I'm saying, my brother?
I see what you're saying, yeah. I see what you're
it's
saying.
it's not no more fantasy or hogwash or SS maybe or blah blah blah. Nope. It's a real thing, and it's coming back because we're in a different zone. Especially this month, you've seen how much has changed quickly because of the
Yeah, a lot has changed.
two eclipses in 1 month. Total lunar
Imagine.
eclipse on the 7th, and just yesterday, 21, was the what? The partial solar eclipse. And then
Yeah, that's partial,
today
yeah.
is the equinox. today and tomorrow. And then tomorrow, today and tomorrow is our new year. And then apparently on 24 is Heritage Day, which they hijack as Braai Day. There's an energy on that day. Do you see what I'm saying?
Which day?
24 September. That's Heritage Day. It's a public holiday. Wednesday.
Oh yeah, the 24th. Yeah.
But it's been hijacked as Braai Day.
Yeah.
You see,
These people.
Abelung, yeah, it's colonization to the nth degree, of the highest order. Everything, as soon as we say we want to enjoy something, they're like, nope. And that's how it's been, because they the true only ones that share what you call animal DNA. And this is the truth of the matter. Most of us don't have animal DNA.
So this thing of, because a while back growing up, I used to hear that the elders used to say Abelung used to come from the sea.
Well, they were saying that because of the way Banugang are called. You see, the way they smell
Yeah.
it. It's because of the composition of their structure. Remember, they have a bond which is sulfur. So that's why sulfur smells when it's wet. That's why the hairs, if it's not, taken care of, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
They can start to exude animalistic traits, whatever they spliced with. And also, in nature, show me where there's curly hair. I'm asking.
In nature, I don't think there is. Is there?
I'm asking.
I don't think there is.
Where would you find a curly 9-ether hair, just like your hair, in nature? Show me. But I'll show you many animals with straight hair coming out of all parts of their body. You understand me?
Yeah, I see.
Thin lips, paper thin lips. There's bonobo monkeys, chimpanzees, you see? Violent creatures. Also, they're able to sexualize any creature.
Yeah.
It's all about the genetic behaviors. But you see what the sun is doing? It's removing, because it's only been bringing out with that ozone being there, and having an electromagnetic covering, which is now wonky. This is also why communications are a lot weird now.
Yeah.
You see, your Wi-Fi is calling, things just glitch out. You might be doing a project, sning ning, wow, you have to start fresh. Wow. And electricity, boom. Then they blame it, it's copper cables, we just have to, no. It's all part to get us there. It's all to get us there. Agenda 2030.
Yeah. There's a lot here. So what do they mean by the universal basic income?
Let's let 10 Mr. LJ jump in there, and then also tell us a little bit about that Cape Town. He wants to touch on Cape Town a little bit. While the guys are chatting, you know how to mute and unmute, so that we can have clarity. I want to put this on a replay on my YouTube channel, and then I'll shout you out for sure. So guys.
Thomas. Ish, you said some important stuff, you two guys. Especially when you touched on the straight hair. I'm not sure if this is okay with the tick and the talks, but however, truth be told, in nature you see straight hair relating to animals, but however, that's not what this discussion is about. It's about gender. Okay, guys. There's some evidence, few videos already circulating about Cape Town. The reason why South Africa is registered as a company is because they did not want people to understand what Cape Town is. When you check the rivers, when you check the names that you get in Israel, they all come from Cape Town. They have changed certain they changed how they pronounce certain words and how they write them. But when you go through it, you'll understand that indeed, there are names which are in Israel. They are also there in Cape Town. And another pointer, there are a few guys now who have come with this. I don't know if I should call it a theory, but there's this thing that the river Nile is flowing south, which does not make sense. Apparently, the north is actually the south. They wanted to create this image that Europe is on top of Africa, but it's Africa then Europe. And so what we call north, which is up there, is actually south. And they had to lie to us about the geography and the maps. I mean, they have changed maps for years and years. But a simple thing, when you are in Cape, you will see the penguins. And if you make a research where the penguins are coming from, you'd also understand that this theory, it can be proved right by nature that we are in the north. So they wanted us to focus and to think Europe is bigger. I mean, the maps of Europe are very small, but they lied. They had to make them bigger. Greenland, very small, but it looks bigger than many African countries. So stuff like that. We have to be aware, especially we in this generation. We know now that everything that they have taught us, it is a lie or half truth, and they prefer half truths. So the reason why illegal immigrants are all rushing to Israel is because there's a blessing, which is Cape Town. Cape Town is Israel, and hence why they also took people from Palestine and also from Israel. They are all coming now to Cape Town because they do understand the blessing that is upon our country as South Africa. I mean, Credo Mutwa, the general was teaching about Credo Mutwa was teaching about Inzalo Yelanga, which is called Adam's calendar. Then when you learn that, okay, when the sun is in the southern hemisphere, uh, these are the alignment and the energy changes and everything. So there's so many things in South Africa that these people have hid from us. And we know that in Cape Town there's lots of buildings, Tartarian buildings. We know that they were not built by Buddhists and so on. So Insalo Elanga is also one of the things because Insalo Elanga is what the birthplace of the sun. We do know that now, guys, our country is rich in history, and there's a reason why uh, Israelites and there's a reason why the Europeans registered South Africa as a company. South Africa is not a country; it's a company. So we have to wake up and respect this country of ours and understand that we are favored and we should take charge. I think that's a little bit that I wanted to mention concerning Cape Town. Sure, guys. Baba Alex,
Togozin. Thank you so much. Now, just trying to navigate this TikTok thing. You know, TikTok is going crazy today. I think it's this topic. It's this topic. Hey, but this is what's necessary. Greetings to
they don't like
nations.
this topic.
Oh yes, they don't like it. My brother, you know, when you also you can feel it. But it's necessary because it's enough of the lies. We're tired now.
Yeah,
So
we are
rather
cut for.
we rather we lay it out there And then we know exactly, okay, this one is now selecting because, okay, we see now, the more of us are awake, the more we can become more sovereign by turning back to in nature, umama, because we turned away from umama. Meaning, as you said, you just planted that tree, that certain tree, and then you becoming the magnet to certain already God ordained. It's a written in your blood for you to receive. We're not meant to be suffering, but since we've suffered so long, Umama suffered so long, her children have suffered, of the soil have suffered. The course correction will only take place when we become conscious and then we make actions towards, and then we now go back to Mama. We used to be able to call storms or even disappear them. We used to be able to do things such as levitate. We used to do many things. In some tribes, some corners, pockets, different, doesn't matter wherever on the continent, they still practice these things. However, it's no more occult. We have so many resources, yet our children are suffering. Yet we're hungry. Yet we're now fighting for seats at tables which don't even suit us. We're now celebrating a fat person coming down a chimney near December when it's hot as all everything, and it's talking about snows. That's confusing our children. That confused me as well. Snow bunnies and rabbits there, things delivering teeth for money underneath your pillow. What is that stuff? We now, we've now been conditioned and also groomed into worshipping not even just a false god, something that is an entity, because it's very confused and also it's very insecure. It needs to control everything in order to feel something. But even when it still gets to controlling at least something, it still is not grateful. This is the disgusting nature, what we say. Whatever's driving these things from another realm, multidimensional, interdimensional, whatever the case, yes, for sure. And about the maps, just like the calendar, that's how they had to get us. Imimoya, spirit first, the unseen, then the mental, and then the physical. The physical is too easy because by that time your mind is gone, it's colonized. So they've been doing this, they've been playing a long game for let's call it about between 2 and 5,000 years, because they only appeared between 7 and 10,000 years ago from the Caucasus Mountains. Okay, it took about Neanderthal caves. This is where this being was spliced and put together, but it has a shelf life. This is what they are not told by their makers. You call it Yodebeyot, Baal, Baphomet, Shaitan, whatever you want to call the same thing, Anunnakis or Yakub, whatever you want to. It was someone that looked like us, melanated, who was like, okay, right, I want to make my own thing now. Because guess what? When you eventually get bored in terms of consciousness and you allow yourself to get low enough, you get bored and you start creating. They're called cosmic scientists. It's a real thing. Some of us are that now. It's just a different name. Maybe a Sangoma, medicine man. Maybe someone can work. Maybe you got foresight. You call it the clairs, the clairvoyant, clairsentience, clairaudience. You can hear from another realm. This is tapping into your cosmic DNA. We know this thing. But what blocks us is what we put into our pathways, our entrances. Mouth, eyes, ears, nose, skin, because it touches then the self, which is the cells. You have trillions of yous, quadrillions, whatever the number is. There's plenty, and they're constantly renewing based off of what you feel, which creates the emotion, which becomes the magnet, which either repels or attracts things to you. So energy is not bad. It's what you do with it. And the more you support an entity which it It only wants to eat you. It just needs your energy. This is why there's a lot of disappearance of children and women to these rings. Okay, I'm not going to say the name. I don't want to get this thing banned. Really wild. You see, the Caucasoid, especially one which does not allow truth to sit in them. They become more like the animal, and this is what's going to take place. So the sun is going to this UVC solar radiation. There's UVA, UVB, UVC. UVA and UVB have been coming in. That's fine. But if you look at the UV index, they say on the UV index chart that by about 7, 8, you can only spend about 15 to 20 minutes in the sun. I say, for who? Right. Next thing is that depending on what you put in your guts, if you're eating these heavy metals, things with heavy metals, pesticides, nanotechnologies, you're taking imijovo, wire, oh, I just need another boost because you're scared and you don't trust in, umoya, you don't trust in nature, in umama. You're still very colonized. Your mind is still gone. What's going to take place is you will suffer the afflictions of the beast as well. Wow. Togozin. Let's welcome Aku quickly to the panel. How you feeling? How you doing? And yes, please take it away.
Good evening, gentlemen. I just have some questions, though, from Mr. LJ. When you were speaking of the maps, you mentioned the north and south and the sizes of these places, but the maps that we use are projections. And, depending on which country you're in, sometimes, like, for example, if you go to China, whenever they look at these projections, they make China more the center point of the map, like the center reference of it. And also because of, from sailors' research and also the flights as well, we are on a spherical object, spheroid. I'll just use that term because it's not a true sphere, but it's also more like, it's like, how can I put it, like maybe an offbeat orange. And in that, you'll have projections. So if you try and draw things which are on like a circle onto like a flat sheet, it will make things look a bit distorted. Even things which are small, they will look bigger. And sometimes things which are big, they will look small. So maybe if you could explain a bit on that, because I've worked in this field and what you're saying seems a bit confusing.
Okay, Ita, how's it?
Yes.
Okay, I think what I can do, we should just connect with each other, and then I'll send you videos that explains in detail. I don't want to misrepresent guys, and they are also experts in the field. So I would rather send you the video, and then perhaps we can discuss it. I saw Notion as well here. I think Notion is one of the guys that we checked the same material concerning how they light and swapped the north and the south and stuff like that. But I will send you a friend request, then I'll send it to you because it's not like I am too equipped in that field. But when they presented their point of view, it started making sense, especially when it comes to the River Nile, it flowing south, stuff like that. But yeah, I will send you that material, and then maybe next time we can reconnect and also discuss it on this group. But whoever guys is an expert around that field um, can add more. But as for me, I would prefer not to misrepresent. I would rather send you that material, you check it, and you let me know, and perhaps we can continue discussing it. So,
Actually, an interesting thing about the Nile, it actually flows from Ethiopia to the sea. So that's why when Ethiopia made when they made this super dam, which they're also using to generate electricity, Egypt was quite uncomfortable with that because it actually affects their water source. Sort of like South Africa's situation with Lesotho, where the Tugela River starts in Lesotho and then it passes through KZN to the sea. It's actually an interesting one. But in terms of there's a point in that Agenda 2030 in terms of cashless currency. An interesting fact is that most wars, actually, World War, like the First and the Second World War, in fact, most conflicts have been around centralized banking. In fact, it was after World War II where a proper central bank, which is the Federal Reserve of the USA, actually established itself. Like the Germans and the British in the First World War actually struggled with central banking. And the crazy fact about the First World War is that the people who are responsible for it are actually all related. And yeah, but the way things are going in terms of the money, there is also a thing of we are going to a decentralized currency, which people are liking, like the crypto, especially Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, etc. But the Bitcoin is more interesting because even companies like BlackRock are trying to acquire this asset in bulk because as a mean to control it. But since it's so decentralized, they cannot really have true ownership of it. So in terms of going to something more controlled, it will be if somehow, some way, they're able to maybe consolidate all the crypto, and that will create that sort of like centralized currency. So have any of you guys been following like the crypto market lately?
Absolutely. Well, funny you say this. I have, I don't know if you're aware of Dr. Jack Kruse.
No, I'm not.
Right. When you talk about decentralization, on my channel on TikTok over here, it's one of the pinned posts, and he speaks about semiconductors because obviously you know that this crypto or digital currencies are going to use what power or electricity or a form of power. So what they're now speaking about is semiconductors in that part of the interview podcast, which I snipped over there. And what is the most powerful semiconductor that you're aware of? I'm asking.
It's germanium, but it's a germanium which is actually enriched. Yeah.
And which continent, especially or country, a continent, then country, or countries on that continent, which possess deposits of this?
Most countries which contain germanium are found it's mostly Central Africa, and parts of the US has it, but that was mostly California at one point, but now they sort of running at a deficit.
Right,
In fact, that's
right.
why it's called Silicon Valley. It's because that's where they started having a number of these semiconductors, for example, which was silicon, the first one they got.
I'm going with now. Stay with me. What he speaks about is the biggest or the strongest it transduces or it liberates 4 electrons, which is melanin. Stronger than gold, even. Germanium, as you just said. And what are they trying to do with Agenda 2030? Carbon reduction. What are we? We're carbon-based beings. So when they say reducing the carbon, they, so far with all of these agendas, they're doing a good job. They're disappearing women, children, this Dubai thing, these influences. You see, they're utilizing this agenda nicely. You see where we're going with this? Can you see how nefarious this thing is? And with the melanin, well, continue. I can go on with this for days over here, but continue.
No, but I do see what you're trying to say, but like in terms of, we can actually sort of look at it. We can compare, let's say, the 21st century, which we are in, and the 20th century, and you look at how, I'll just say, look at the behaviors of wealthy people back then and now. Back then, wealthy people, they knew how, although it's not perfect, but they knew how to actually sustain their wealth, ensuring that people are happy with them by actually building the things that people need and providing certain things at very cheap prices like healthcare, but just to keep people to be functional. And then if you notice in the 21st century, the whole world is running on extreme debt. Like, for example, people show up. Let's say you have a company. I buy your company, but I say I will give you R1 million. And then, I'll tell you, let's say I want to buy your company for 10 million. I buy your company for 1 million. I tell you I'm going to give you R1 million, and then I'll get the other 9 through a loan. But then the loan will be your company taking the loan, which pays you off. And then after that, I just find a way to milk it and get the funds. But that's how the world is currently working now, is that we're just acquiring debt, and people are then further, especially people middle class, low poor people, they're like further pushed down because they are the ones who have to actually service this debt. Don't you think that also plays a role in how maybe the world is moving, is that people, because now we're so much debt oriented, the human element of things is sort of being pushed away?
Absolutely. I agree with you, and it's all by design. So the reason why I'm going where I'm headed is because, remember, you're very analytical and scientific. What we're doing is now we're opening up umoya, spirit, our connection to nature, right? Because there's a split happening as well. Decentralization is not only, and the reason why I brought up Dr. Jack Kruse and the most omnipotent semiconductor in the cosmos is melanin, is because if you look at multidimensionally, if you look at every facet everywhere, and you look at what's happening, and you look at the oppression of melanin, and also what melanin does as not just a hormone, but as a semiconductor. As a hormone, it can transduce all types of frequencies which come into this planet, provided that it is functioning, fully functioning, healthy, and you see what I'm saying? That's already wild, because it also governs your circadian rhythm. When your melanin is off, do you know that Caucasoids and other races take melanin tablets? Melatonin, they call it. And what does that do? That boosts their immunity, interferon alpha, interferon beta, and also interferon gamma, which are precursors to your T lymphocytes, your macrophages. These are the fighting cells of the immunity. And they are derived from what? Melanin. You get it from vitamin D, but they're telling you the sun is dangerous. Well, it's only dangerous when there's certain elements within you because you're not able to transduce the frequency. Wow.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
ask a question there? Don't you think that
Yeah.
if you remember another thing, how as humans are advancing, one industry that is also growing consistently, in fact, it's even it advances just as much as humans advance, is the pharmaceutical industry. And most consumers of pharmaceutical products are typically well, white people, because Asians, countries like China are actually quite hot. And like Asia, for example, you have your Vietnamese, you have your Filipinos, they also have varying skin tones. But when you go to Europe, like if you compare the skin tones of the Portuguese and the Spaniards as compared to the Brits, they also have varying, and this is because of their exposure to the sun. So when they do these studies, or when they try to convince them to take pills, they don't give them the actual truth that they can always be in the sun, just that they have to reduce the exposure because their bodies are more adapted, or through generations of them not allowing for themselves to genetically differentiate, they are now more constrained to actually having lower exposure of the sun as compared to completely enjoying the world for what it is. On
Agreed. I agree with you. But also, once again, this is all by design. So as we're moving forward, the best thing is to be awake and aware, but conscious of consciousness, all while staying ahead where you need to be ahead, number one, of yourself. Because the only thing that can destroy you truly is your mind. If you feel in your mind that this is what's going to take place, in the mind you can create what we call belief. In between belief, there's a lie. Once a belief starts to fester, it's only started to fester because of habit. Anything which is practiced habitually becomes that belief. Belief creates the behavior, especially of a society. So whatever we create as normalcy, the more it becomes normal, the more we practice that behavior, the more we pass it on. And also, whenever it starts in this generation over here, it's only just a flu. By generation 2, 3, it's a disease.
True. But don't you also think like some certain behaviors that we have as humans, they come from, let's say, the cultures that we actually have. For example, right? Or maybe how we perceive things. This is how I can put it. Like, for example, in this era of humans, there's a lot of the scientific method, which was discovered by Arabs. And then in the time when the scientific method was going through its, like its phase of maturing, and gaining its trust, there was people were more religious or spiritual, as they would claim. Where if there's like an earthquake that's coming, and then they would say, sacrifice a virgin, those kinds of things. Do you think also that humans do get like very zealous on certain things, and then they forget that there exists a world outside those things which actually contradicts some of those beliefs?
Absolutely. You can see this in all of what we say, once again, civilization has gone, we went forward to a point or to certain points. That's why there's been extinctions or great extinctions. And then we went now fully backwards. So slavery at this point is a choice. So what we say is we tend to, when we don't want to deal with something, what do? When you don't want to deal with something, you will make excuses not to get there. So things like procrastination eventually become what you have to suppress. So addictions start to creep up, and therefore mental health issues. Because also the hormones are off balance based off of lifestyle. We never used to sleep on comfort. Remember, your spine is not engaged when you sleep. That's why people, just a basic thing. Me myself, I'm different because I've already stepped into my mission. So as someone who's not only an initiate, but I practice holistic health consistently, have been for the last 7 years now. Not only as a coach, but myself me and self. So I don't sleep on a bed, I sleep on the floor. Things like this. But if it doesn't mean anything, but regardless. But if you tell someone or you explain to someone the benefits and also why you can pinpoint why the boomers, the ones who were World War II and all of that, they're geezers now, and they still got strong bones. Some of them can still, provided that they haven't delved deep into the westernized whatever, from pharmaceuticals all the way to food. Their bones are still strong. They can drop on their knees. Boom, boom. Dr. Sebi was doing that in some of his last lectures. He's like, check me bones out. He was dropping on his kneecaps. You see? So things like this. We don't engage with ourselves. We are bystanders in life. And we what we call this? It's a beautiful saying that I put in my book as well. I just want to pinpoint it in my mind. We substitute, or we have all of these comforts dressed as necessity, but they're actually slow poison. So in other words, sugar outside the body is bitter within, and excess sugar creates space for cancers, for brittleness, for weakness, for also its children's cocaine. Give a child sugar or don't give them sugar, you'll see that thing go crazy just like an addict in an adult lifetime. So you can see onset what we've done to ourselves. This is why I say slavery is now a choice. But that choice by generation 2, 3 is now a disease. It's a plague. You have to now generational curse break. So this is also what's happening. It's a grand awakening. This is why I love these type of discussions, especially of this agenda. It's no more a conspiracy theory, because as you can also see there, depopulation, control of the population's growth and density, that is twofold. Look at the populations, or specifically the Caucasoid, which is dwindling in not only reproductive, not only testosterone levels, but I mean all across the board, male testosterone levels in general have fallen. But why? A lot of estrogen in the microplastics, in a lot of the stuff we wear, nylon, acrylic, all of polyethylene or whatever it is, polystyrene, whatever it is. That stuff is all plastic. It rubs on your first organ, on your navel. That's where you used to get fed. If you're a womb born, if you're a clone, listen, they clone Tyrone is there for a reason. Have a watch that thing. It's available. Listen, Linda. So all of these things, we wear shoes all the time. We're not touching trees. We're not touching the soil. We mostly inside, the way we sit. Our bones are collapsed by comfort. We get collapsed hips by about 60, 70. Abazali, now hips are a problem. That's because you don't engage with your musculoskeletal structure. It's a basic thing. And it doesn't have to be training. You see, even them, the boomers, they never used to train. As in, yeah. But guess what? There was not as much comfort. The comfort is not to say that, oh yeah, you're soft, puffy, yes. Yes, okay, showcase. On that front, cool. But we're saying that you don't live life. You're a bystander in your vessel. You're not able to reach the amazing level which you're able to reach, or what our ancestors were, which only us now were ancestors in the flesh. We are our ancestors in the flesh. And so it's up to us to course correct. And so blending, not only think about Wakanda Forever, vibranium, and when we merge nature with a little bit of AI, but not to control and tell us what to do, or to control the children, or to be eating, if we can merge it like that, when we merge it like that, especially with consciousness, with our melanin, because once again, when we come together and we're on the same rhythm, remember circadian rhythm, melatonin, melanin, we can then change a frequency wave. We can call in rain. We don't need guns and weapons to chase away the big bad colonizer. I mean, the first time the Caucasoid touched this continent, some of our people were crying. They were like, that's a ghost. You know, God didn't love you. What happened to your colors? Serious. It's been a thing. But this is only for enlightenment, once again, entertainment and educational purposes only. It's not to say anyone is less than anything. You can always change what you are. Once again, I'll always go to the example. It's also in the book, The Law of Attunement, my first book. There in the 70s, 80s, 90s, it stopped somewhere. You guys can pinpoint it. When Caucasoid used to tan with oil, they used to throw oils. Abo squaz nigga. Go look at those pictures. They used to douse themselves with oil and sit there. So what happened? Or what have we changed? And what have we followed to now introduce those sort of diseases, ailments, which never used to be prevalent amongst melanated beings because melanin. Black don't crack, yeah, but now you cracking, man. What's going on? So guys, welcome to my moderator. Continue, please, Aku.
But don't you think, like, if you had to compare, let's say, the boomers, the 60s people, and people after them, that actually stress could be a very big contributing factor? Because remember, stress does encourage people to do things that require them to reduce the stress, such as eating a lot of sugar, because sugar does reduce stress, like chocolates and stuff. The studies are there. Consuming alcohol, because it reduces the stress temporarily. Don't you think stress could, because just another thing, there was a doctor, he was on YouTube, he said one thing which he noticed by his parents, he was mostly critiquing the American health cost. And he said that most of his patients, no matter how proper the program the healing program he set them up on, because they were just so stressed about their medical costs, the people actually didn't heal. So don't you think also, like, probably humans are getting more and more stressed? Like, if you look at it, the things that we need in order to survive, or just to survive, they are either too expensive or very much inaccessible. Like, for example, let's just use the Western Cape as an example. Housing in Cape Town is very expensive, according to the data. So if you live in Cape Town, you would most likely be stressed that you're not going to afford to live there, even though your job is there. But then during the times of the boomers, they didn't have this kind of stress. People had jobs where you could, and the government was incentivized. They were paying people to go to school. Right now, you go to school, next thing, probably you have to sell something in order to be able to pay school off.
Absolutely powerful. Absolutely powerful. You see, once again, everything that you're saying is absolutely valid. Okay? And the only difference is, I'll keep going back to that example of over here now, it starts as just a cough or it's just a flu. But within the second, third generation, it's now a disease. It's something that, okay, by 35, just know Gucci, eat diabetes is shy. And then now also with the reinforcement of the words, it becomes ritual. Anything that you repeat, repetition is the father of learning. Integration is the mother of knowing. So we've left mother, or the feminine aspect, or nature, or magnetic energy, cold, minus, in terms of creation, with everything in life. So we're very hyper masculinated. Some people call it a patriarchy, because we don't pay attention also to nature. We don't have a balance. So it's all, everything that is just, this is all results of off balance. Everything is just off key. And then the more you go towards what is unnaturally you, your origins, doesn't matter where you're from, you must go back to your origins. That entails also what you eat, what you drink, and then limit your time outside of your own self, meaning technology. Even with you giving yourself, now people are starting to do social media breaks or social media timeouts because they're noticing it's messing with their mental health. That's because of the ELF waves, the frequencies. We just not taught what all of this is. And then another thing with the education, it's an arm of this agenda. Politics, education, the financial system, which is banking or a big banking, all of these families, there's a set number of families that run this game. When you look at the whole metaphysics of the design of the Western civilization, it's a set amount of families. In South Africa, wherever you see republic, it's owned. It's on the stock market. This is what we were saying a bit earlier. So if you're not a big player over there, you are on this agenda. You're either going to be a slave for this, or what we do is, which is where I'm on the side of, yes, involved in things like decentralization. But decentralization also is the same as freedom. It's the same as sovereignty, right? Because there's no centralized government. There's no control mind. There's no centralized place where we have to get a contract from or where we have to go via. You see what I'm saying? So, oh, my man got disconnected. I'm sure he's going to come back in. TikTok is being funny. But thank you guys for joining. Continue. And with all of this being said, what my brother did say is that cashless currency, it's already sort of there, but once again, it's up to us. All of this is up to us. That's why they're speeding things up. These next 2-3 years, guys, we're going to see some things we have not seen, even if you have not seen it yet. Remember, truth is stranger than fiction and also more disturbing than the lies. If you think that you've seen it all yet, guys, wow. All right. Cupid X, before I let you go, Cupid X, let's just welcome my publisher all the way from Maui, Hawaii. Aloha, yes, and we're also actually shooting a documentary coming out in 2030, which is titled Aloha Meets Ubuntu. So she's just gonna greet and then just quickly introduce herself, and then Cupid X, you're gonna jump in after that, my man. Togo's in, and welcome the Lighthouse Portal, Naila.
Aloha. Aloha, thank you. Thank you for the intro. I am Anella of the Lighthouse Portal, and we are grateful to be here to help represent artists and creators who normally don't get seen or shown to the rest of the world. So I'm grateful. Mahalo.
Cupid, you want to go ahead, man?
What should I do now?
Whatever's clever. If you want to piggyback off what I was saying, or if you want to, because we still haven't completed the middle half of this. I'm seeing over there microchipped society for trade, travel, tracking, and control. Wow. Any thoughts on that there?
The microchips. Microchips, I've seen before that they've implemented it in some countries or something. I think they're
I'm
already
asking,
using it.
I'm asking you if they said now, Ramaphosa said, okay, in 2026, it is mandatory for everyone to get a microchip. What are you doing? Where's your stance? And what is the agenda there? Coming from you and your beliefs, what do you feel, your thoughts? Let's go.
My thoughts. Yo, I really don't know. Okay, so I think I would, from the way things are going, I would choose not to follow the system, because basically that would be like me sacrificing myself into their things, and which is not what I believe in. I believe I should follow whatever that I feel like is right for me. So I don't think I would follow through with it. Just I don't know the backup plans, because right now I'm not really into that how can I put this, in that mental state, or that I don't really have the knowledge that I need to have in order to like execute whatever I would be planning for myself at that time. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Lighthouse Portal? Microchips in Hawaii at this stage? Anything of the sort? Wildlife.
No, they haven't introduced that quite yet. But I know that Whole Foods was suggesting. Oh, actually, yes, you can have a Whole Foods accepts you scan yourself through the thing. I was like, wait, what? Excuse me? So yeah, I don't go there. It's very weird. Also, the reason that they're scanning our animals is to literally keep track of you. So if you feel like if you have a dog or a cat and they want to put a microchip in there, just say no. No, thank you. I'm cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's some bullshit right there.
Wildlife. Wildlife. So Internet of Things, everything hooked to 5G monitoring. 5G, how far would the 5G network and stuff in how we have, I mean, in Hawaii just in general, the other islands as well, if you're aware.
Yeah, so we have a lot of 5G networks over here, and they're all right next to schools and shopping centers and the place where the people come off the boat who are visiting so they can have good power of network, supposedly, and connections for all of that. So that is crazy to me. And yeah, they're doing that here. And they tried to set up a smart city when they burned Lahaina down, but that's not working. And I find it to be very, very messed up that they like to place these things that they disguise as trees in the middle of neighborhoods and schools and shopping centers where they know a lot of people are going to be gathering. And so that is available here. And I've also found something quite an arrangement of new Starlink satellites that there's so many over Hawaii. I'm like, is this really necessary? And he introduced that right after the fire so that people could feel connected. Well, not only are they overly connected, they're now becoming disconnected from themselves because of the connection with that. So that outside connection is just a distraction, so you don't get the inside connection. So I'm happy to take whole big huge fasts from not only food but and water even, but the internet. Let's talk about internet fasting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And, with the smart cities, there it is there as well. Smart cities, guys, 15-minute cities, meaning that they want to also get it to the point where end private transportation. Wow, no more owning cars, etc. What does that mean? All businesses owned by government and corporations, and or corporations only. So you're not even able to run your own shop. Talking about settlement zones, aka concentration camps or concentration zones, restriction of non-essential air travel. What do they mean non-essential when I'm sure that these guys take Boeing jets everywhere? Wow, you see the hypocrisy here, but also the implementation of this world social credit system. You see, there's small things which people are going to go for, and this is where they grip us. There's small things which look attractive. They disguised as, what is that saying again? Lighthouse Portal? Disguised as comfort or something. What is that saying?
No, it's disguised as convenience. Anything that feels convenient is some bullshit.
There we go. That's the quote I put in my book as well. Because once again, it seems like it's convenient. Oh, smart, meaning quick. Oh, a little crisp inside my palms. I can just swipe. Quick. Oh no, I can just get there. If you look here there's a place called Stain City in South Africa, Lighthouse Portal. Stain City is in North Johannesburg. And
Hmm.
Stain City is pretty much a kick-off or a starting point of what you call a smart city. Because inside there, you don't need to leave. When you're in there, there's schools from children to, okay, college and whatever. There's businesses in there. There's amenities in there. The only time you need to go out is if it's what, emergency? So imagine a child or a person who's born in there and doesn't exit ever.
Oh, wow.
You see? So this is what we're saying is reality, and this is what they are pushing. End to all private owned property, except some elites. That one for me is wildlife. And then they say government raised children.
God. It's all about that control. They want to do observance, surveillance, monitor so that the control, it's a last ditch effort. It's not going to work. Most of the people that I speak with are not consenting to it. Even people who used to consent like 2 weeks ago are going, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I love the wait a minutes. Let's go. Let's reevaluate this shit.
Absolutely, absolutely. And my brother over there, Cupid X, just letting us know that he's got to get busy with some things. Thank you for joining the panel. That's Cupid X _ SA. For those of you who would like to just tap in there and also follow. Man's got some knowledge, got some wisdom as well, and also just working towards becoming a better version of himself, as should all of us be. So shout out to that. Thank you for the insights, and I want to learn more, of course. If you're not learning, you're busy dying. And also, if you're not living, what are you doing? So I thank you for your insights. And back to you, the Lighthouse Portal. And also welcome to Jia Lang. Welcome to Sia A. Please continue. Is there anything else there which we need to just quickly tap on? Because there's the last line there. It's in bold, and it's in blue bold. It says what does it say there? You can see just under that final line. Can you read that for us? And let's discuss that eerie last line. Wow.
Is that own nothing and be happy?
Wow. Say that again for the people in the back. I don't think they got what well, what?
I will own nothing and be happy.
So does that include my soul? I'm asking for the
For me, it's the non-attachment to anything of this earth. Anything. No attachments to any of it. Yeah.
And you see there just next to it, World Economic Forum, WF. So basically at that forum, they discuss this every year, guys.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who are unaware, the United Nations, so each year, consistently, they've been meeting and meeting. Also, you do know that there's a conference known as the Melanin Conference. But they don't invite people who are melanated. I don't know if you're aware of this kind of stuff.
That's wonderful.
That's really wildlife to me. And then if you look at the World Economic Forum, you look who used to be the head of that. His name was what? Klaus Schwab, right? Klaus Schwab also is tied to the Rothschilds, also is tied to the Oppenheimers, also is tied to Kennedys, all of these other Collins, all of these bloodlines, the royal family apparently. I don't know who made them royal, but they're very good at hoarding. They're very great at hoarding not only jewelry or paintings or information, but wisdom, occult wisdom, which we gave them. And also especially the skulls of those Ubukosi, and the chiefs, queens, kings of the land, of the great Mapungubwes, of the great of the great Zimbabwe's, of the great Sudans. They've got skulls of those conquered because, once again, in order to enslave the mind, they had to create what? Trauma. So it's a trauma bonding with beatings, lynchings, egregious acts of graping, eating, cannibalism, not only you on your fellow kin, but watching them eating you, you eating yourself. It's wild things, and at the end of the day, this is the psychological damage which we say, emancipate yourself from the mental slavery. And this is part of the work, the shadow work, because it's one thing to be aware of all of these things here, guys. Yes, that's fine. But what are you doing about it and why? One thing I can let you know is that if you're not a grown adult and doing it for the children, and if you're not a woman yourself and doing it for the women and allowing space so that we're able to course correct, because we're going back to our true functions. A woman is emotional by nature. A man is analytical by nature, is action man by nature. Okay? And once you start to distort that basic nature, what are you becoming? And this is also the choice we have. Are we going to become what? Shout out to Sophia Stewart. If she ever watches some of my videos, I have shouted her out. She is the original creator of the Matrix and the Terminator franchise. And then the Wachowski brothers, which transitioned into sisters. And then apparently back to brothers. Wow, man. They stole or took all of her works and then created the Matrix 1, 2, 3, and then after not having her involved and whatever the case, that's why Matrix 4 was just a little bit weird. Didn't quite have that hey. You see? But this is what happens when you steal what doesn't belong. And also, based off of culture, based off of symbolism, based off of what you call witchcraft, they're practicing it on us, just backwards. With all of their holidays that keep us dazed in the weekdays, then by the weekend we're weakened, okay? With the entertainment, just like in Rome, entertain them, fill their bellies with food and drink, and they shall not know shit. Okay, that's what's taking place. It's a great distraction, but also it's a great awakening. After the great awakening is now a great healing, a cleansing. Once that starts to take place and you set this in motion, especially consciously, all of this agenda does not apply to you because your spirit will be so tapped in, umoya, you'll be tapped in that you'll know exactly where to go because you'll be tapped into your intuition, your gut feeling. But if you're always chewing amagwinya, fat cakes, you see, you have the bleach blanched, fatty fast, processed, high sucrose, and you're not giving yourself time to fast and rest. You're not tapping into umama, grounding in nature, in the soil, taking at least an hour, 2 hours of ilanga, direct, and sweating, uchulu, release. Okay, if you're always taking in substances and you're not detoxifying, it's going to touch you. And when it touches you, it's going to become that strong disease. There's a lot of things which are going to become plagues, plagues coming back. It's not only are they forcing these things by what they're playing with, genetically modifying, clonings, whatever they're playing with, underground bases and all of this stuff. You follow them, you will also perish like them. The best thing to do, like I said to my brother Aku, shout out to Aku as well for joining the panel, is that the best thing we can do is look at Wakanda Forever, Black Panther. Look at vibranium. So there's a bit of technology, but it's all tapped with nature. So because that is also intelligence. But it's an intelligence that works with the universal laws. Hence why I've written the law of attunement, so that you can attune yourself to what is already available, which never changes, is universal laws. With that being said, I'm so thankful for this discussion. We might do a part 2 and 3 but now I would actually beings in different specializations, in in energy, in finance, wherever the case may be, and then get them on here, and then let's see exactly those who are changing the frequency for the better, and those who are aware of when they were maybe blinded or unconscious to all of the nefarious things happening, so that we can each one reach one and continue to arise. Togozin. The Lighthouse Portal.
Yeah, I needed to raise my hand because I just wanted to say you inspired me to go back to where we remember that the ceremony of presence, and remembering that our physical body is the anchor for the awareness of our consciousness. Why wouldn't we want to treat that as absolutely sacred, so that we can make good decisions based on all these subjects that you have sitting here? I feel like having a clear vessel, a Hawaka Vaimele, allows you to go from your heart to your mind, so that your mind cannot be infiltrated, and so that you can make really good decisions for your present moment now, which is really important. Look at all these subjects you have, all these topics. That's very important decisions that people get to make for their own Hawaka Vaimele. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, the Lighthouse Portal, all the way from Maui, Hawaii. And you see, these once again, with this over here, the reason why I screenshot that directly is just go into your Google and type in Agenda 2030. This will come up. Also with the United Nations map, you see that map over there? It's depicted as a flat earth. And 10 Mr. LJ earlier was speaking about how the map is distorted and it's backwards. And yes, I agree with you. Because once again, if you look at certain things and how things are just placed, things start to make sense, especially the more clear your eye becomes. Things is very tough to confuse you. You see, that high sugar in your bloodstream is screaming inside you. So therefore, what can you see when you're screaming? What can you feel? You're desensitized. And this is what they're doing with all of not only Hollywood, but even the media, which is controlled by those families. Only things pass because that call was made. I mean, just side note quickly, Wendy Williams, when she was saying, oh yeah, I'm about to go on my next show and speak about Diddy. I know that Diddy, the diddler, he's got this happening and I have some receipts, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Diddy made a call one time to that network and said, hey, you shut that shit down quick, sticks. Guess what? Wendy Williams the next day was 4, 5, 6 states away. She got out of Dodge quickly. And then what happened to Wendy Williams?
That was really interesting. How quick did that happen?
There you go. So imagine the strings that get pulled by the Oppenheimers, by the Ruperts. Okay? To my South Africa now, guys. You see? So the same thing is in every different continent, on every different continent, every different country. There's certain families, pinpoint them, and then you'll know also, especially if you know where they live, because there's going to come a time where we're going to go to their houses. On the African continent, it's been happening, where they're going to their houses of these politicians, these ones who use politics to trick us. Cool, no problem. They actually were dragging some of them out. I don't know, you shouldn't be taking lives, but once again, when you push an animal or you push anything back to the corner for so long, something's going to give. And especially once we come into consciousness, we won't need to use weapons as melanated beings. Once we come into the same consciousness, we'll be able to levitate stones via frequency. That's how we created the pyramids. And not just the ones in Giza, along all the way from Inzaloyelanga, here, pyramids here in South Africa, in South, all the way up past Great Zimbabwe, going boom, up Tanzania, Sudan, boom, boom, boom. All of that there, we were creating as we were going. By the time we touched Kemet, ancient Kemet, we were perfectionists now. That's all. We got good. And then we exited. And when you can see South America and the coast of the west coast of Africa, you can see it fits. That's why the Brazils and those South Americans there's Angola, Portuguese. It makes sense. We were used to touch, and then there's also the pyramids there. You see what I'm saying? The southern hemisphere, especially the southern mass, they call the southern hemisphere, quote unquote, was first populated, or the middle or the equator, and at a moment you had to be jet black or some type of melanin, green, blue, or a transfiguration, red, Martian. You see, transfiguration of melanin, because also if you look at chlorophyll, it's the same as hemoglobin, blood. So if we change the magnesium to iron, if we had to change our iron to magnesium, our blood would be green. Does that make sense? So there's small things with frequency shift and also minerals which create the hormones, and this is what's being changed. The hormones that are being created through our glands from the frequencies coming in. But if you always backed up with the old world stuff, you don't give yourself time. I mean, also some of us are going into spontaneous, what you call fasting, where also spontaneous dropping off of what you call habits or cravings. Say, yes, I used to love batin. Let me say, I always say amaquinya because that's just the most easiest. So fat cakes. Yeah, I used to love eating fat cakes, gang. Oh, also netia. Now, as soon as you hit one, boom, it's gone. It wants to run out of your stomach very quickly. You see, this is also umoya talking to you. But guess what? We're so backed up, and also there's parasites which contribute to not only cancerous things, but to brain fog, because they bypass the blood-brain barrier. When you're hearing intrusive thoughts, most likely a lot of parasites. And also, if you have a double chin, if you have swollen glands, lymph nodes, it's because your lymph transports out waste. And also, parasites love to clump up there. They move in mucus. Parasites are clear, guys. So whenever those who, sorry to say, but sometimes you're most likely eating parasites, long string ones, especially. I'm being honest, and it's the truth. You need to know. So be careful. Mucus is good, but it's not good in excess. Mucus is able to move things along. But when it becomes calcified, you become like gargoyle. That's why you get the itises, sinusitis. Too much mucus becomes rocks, right? Your bones, arthritis. Okay. It's also in my book, The Law of Attunement. The only thing that I do is I simplify, because to simplify is to amplify. Less is more. Togozin. Is there any final words, the Lighthouse Portal, that you have for us? Because I'm definitely going to put this on a replay on the YouTube channel at Lex Stays Liquid. If you're listening to this, thank you for the support. If you haven't subscribed, guys, why not? We're still going to be growing, and also excited for the book tour, The Law of Attunement Teachings. The physical copy will be available, and I'll be touring with it from January 2026. And then we're going to be doing Sub-Saharan Africa. I'm going to be meeting a lot of the family and community which we're building online here, right? We're going to physicalize. We're going to amplify. We're going to be teaching also with the upcoming content on how to forage, how to find certain shrubs just there, especially dandelion. Guys, the whole plant, it's powerful, provided that it's places and spaces where it's not sprayed with pesticides, heavy metals. But once again, just wash it with amanzi water, preferably boiled, but then also utilize tools such as bicarbonate of soda. Okay. I got baking soda. Whip it through the glass, homie. Not for that other thing, but that there is a beautiful remover of toxins and also of little insects here, there, whatever the case may be. And then also hydrogen peroxide. I also have this on my YouTube channel. Also, do your research. Be very careful. Everything in moderation, but also to moderate means that you are on the way to be great. Remember, you're amazing, you're powerful, and you're not going crazy. The world is changing. Wait, it's already changed. What about you? Are you remaining the same, still fighting? Or are you changing for the better and greater good for the children, our women, and also for the strong men out there who are, and the fathers? Shout out to 10 Mr. LJ, especially. And, I'm excited to continue this, especially Agenda 2030, in terms of the awareness, but also the discussions behind it. Shout out to, is that Sheridan? Welcome, a little bit late. But once again, I definitely go by Ubaba Lex, the Liquid Alchemist, and also holistic health coach, but also now a independently published author. And also shout out to the Lighthouse Portal, where my book is independently being published from and through out of Maui, Hawaii. Thank you, Anela, which also means angel, by the way. You're amazing. And shout out to JB, shout out to everyone who contributed. Please, if you find yourself on the replays, comment. I will tag you. And thank you for your input. Lighthouse Portal, Anela.
I'm going to close this out with a pule to remember to treat yourself as sacred, honor and love yourself. You are enough just as you are at any given moment. Choose yourself. Aloha a mahalo na mea kapu ike mele akalani. Aloha ma. Thank you for having me. Have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you are, or evening. Aloha.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, and well received. As Charles joins the mediator, we will definitely tap in on the next one. Once again, please have a beautiful evening, day, and thank you to Jia Lang. And also, once again, each one reach one, each one teach one. This is how we learn, this is how we grow. I definitely go by Baba Lex, and thank you for joining. See you on the next one. Togozid, Togozid, Togozid.